Have you ever felt trapped in a relationship, as if invisible chains are holding you back? It's a sensation far too many of us have experienced. This feeling of entrapment, this bind of limitations, can take on many forms. It can appear as a wall of silence, where communication seems impossible, or as a lingering fear of change, paralyzing us in the face of new possibilities. Often it morphs into a pervasive sense of low self-esteem, a shadow that constantly whispers, "You're not good enough." These limitations, while intangible, can feel as real and as confining as iron shackles. They can prevent us from experiencing the joy, the growth, and the deep connection that healthy relationships can offer. But here's a thought. What if these chains aren't as unbreakable as they seem? What if there was a way to break free from these limitations and experience the freedom you truly deserve in your relationships? The first step in breaking free is to identify the limitations that are holding you back. Now, let's dive into understanding these limitations. We're talking about those invisible chains that seem to bind you in your relationships. They can take various forms, and often they're so ingrained in our routines that we might not even notice them. Let's start with one of the most common limitations: feeling undervalued. This is when you feel like your thoughts, feelings, or contributions are not being appreciated or acknowledged. It's like you're pouring all your energy into a relationship, but it's just draining away without any recognition. Next, we have the limitation of not being heard. This occurs when you feel that your voice is being drowned out, your opinions are sidelined, or your needs are overlooked. It's as if you're shouting into a void, hoping someone, anyone will listen, but all you hear is your own echo. Finally, we encounter the limitation of feeling stuck in a routine. This happens when you feel like you're just going through the motions day in and day out. Everything seems predictable, monotonous, and devoid of any excitement or growth. So how do you go about identifying these limitations? Well, it begins with self-awareness. Pay attention to how you feel in your relationships. Are you often left feeling drained or unappreciated? Do you find that your opinions are frequently dismissed? Or do you feel like you're stuck in a never-ending loop of sameness? Once you've pinpointed these feelings, dig a little deeper. Ask yourself why you feel this way. What specific actions or behaviors are causing these feelings? By asking these questions, you're shining a spotlight on the limitations that have been holding you back. Remember, it's okay to feel these things. It's okay to acknowledge that you're facing limitations. It's part of being human. But it's also important to remember that you have the power to change these circumstances. Once you've identified these limitations, you're ready to start breaking them down. So, let's gear up for the next step on this journey towards finding freedom in your relationships. Communication is key in any relationship, and it's also the key to breaking down limitations. In the journey of finding freedom in relationships, one of the most crucial steps is to cultivate effective communication. It's the bridge that connects hearts, minds, and souls, and it's the tool that can help you shatter the walls of limitations. First, let's talk about expressing feelings and needs. This might sound straightforward, but it's often where many of us stumble. Why? Because it requires vulnerability. It requires us to open up and let someone else see our inner world. But remember, being vulnerable isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It's a sign that you're brave enough to let your true self shine through. So don't shy away from expressing your feelings. If you're happy, let your partner know. If you're upset, say it. If you need something, ask for it. Be clear, be honest, and be direct. But communication isn't just about talking. It's equally about listening. And by listening, I don't mean just hearing the words that are being said. I mean truly understanding the emotions, the thoughts, the fears, and the dreams hidden behind those words. This is how you foster empathy. This is how you build a deeper connection. So, when your partner talks, don't just listen with your ears. Listen with your heart. Pay attention to their body language, their tone of voice, their expressions. Try to understand their perspective, even if it's different from yours. One more thing. Always remember that communication is a two-way street. It's not just about expressing your thoughts and feelings, but also about understanding and respecting your partners. So, create a safe space where both of you can express yourselves freely and openly, without fear of judgment or criticism. And lastly, keep in mind that effective communication is a skill, and like any other skill, it requires practice. So be patient with yourself and with your partner. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep communicating. Effective communication can open doors to understanding and growth, helping you break free from limitations. Change can be scary, but it's also a necessary part of growth and freedom. In our quest for a limitless relationship, we must understand that change is inevitable. We all evolve as people, and so do our relationships. Embracing change isn't just about accepting it, it's about actively seeking it, understanding its value, and using it as a tool to break away from our limitations. Imagine for a moment a tree. It starts as a small seed, and with time, it grows into a strong and mighty entity. But this growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of adapting to different seasons, weather conditions, and environments. And just like that tree, our relationships also need to adapt and evolve over time. Being open to new experiences is one way we can embrace change. This doesn't mean we should toss aside our values or compromise our happiness, but it does mean we should be willing to step out of our comfort zones now and then. Trying new things together can bring a fresh perspective to our relationships. It can spark joy, create shared memories, and help us understand our partners in a new light. Adapting to changes in our partners is equally important. Remember, your partner is a dynamic being, not a static one. As they grow, their interests, opinions, and behaviors might change. Instead of resisting these changes, try to understand them. Embrace them. Because when we support our partners in their growth, we're also supporting the growth of our relationship. Lastly, let's not forget about changing our old habits and behaviors that limit our relationships. It's easy to fall into patterns, especially in long-term relationships. But these patterns can often lead to stagnation. So challenge yourself. Identify the habits that are holding your relationship back. It could be something as simple as not expressing appreciation often enough. Whatever it is, commit to changing it. Embracing change can help you break free from limitations and create a more fulfilling relationship. Remember, change isn't just about becoming a different person or having a different relationship. It's about growing, evolving, and becoming the best versions of ourselves within our relationships. It's about finding freedom in love. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. This statement rings true, especially when it comes to self-esteem. A healthy dose of self-love and respect can significantly shape the dynamics of your relationships, helping you break free from limitations. How, you may ask? Well, let's dig in. Practicing self-care is a surefire way to boost your self-esteem. This goes beyond just physical care. Mental and emotional well-being are equally important. Make time to indulge in activities that make you happy, that calm your mind, and that allow you to grow as an individual. It could be reading a book, going for a run, or perhaps learning a new skill. The essence of self-care is doing something for yourself, by yourself, and enjoying it wholeheartedly. Now let's talk about setting boundaries. It's about understanding and respecting your limits, knowing what you can tolerate and accept, what makes you feel uncomfortable or stressed. These are your boundaries, and it's crucial to communicate them clearly in your relationships. It's not about being rigid or inflexible, but about safeguarding your self-esteem. And remember, setting boundaries is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous process that evolves with you and your relationships. Celebrating personal achievements, big or small, is another essential aspect of boosting self-esteem. Did you finish reading that book you've been meaning to? Did you cook a meal from scratch for the first time? Or perhaps did you stand up for yourself in a tricky situation? Celebrate these victories. They are proof of your capabilities, your growth. They bolster your self-worth and empower you to challenge limitations in your relationships. A strong sense of self-worth is a powerful tool. It allows you to stand tall, to voice your needs, to set your boundaries, and to respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, you invite others to do the same. With a boost in self-esteem, you can break free from limitations and build healthier, more fulfilling relationships. So, cherish yourself, respect your boundaries, and celebrate your victories. After all, you are your most important relationship. So, what does it mean to break free from limitations in relationships? Well, let's take a moment to reflect on our journey together. We've explored how limitations can bind us, subtly, and insidiously, making us feel stuck and stifled. But we've also learned that identifying these limitations is the first step towards freedom. Communicating effectively is key. It's about being open, honest, and willing to listen. It's about having those tough conversations and standing up for what matters to us. Embracing change too plays a crucial role. Change can be scary, but it's also a gateway to growth and new possibilities. And let's not forget the importance of boosting our self-esteem. In order to break free, we must believe in our worth and our ability to shape our own lives. Remember, breaking free from limitations isn't about creating a perfect relationship, but rather about creating a relationship that's perfect for you. In the gentle embrace of the Love's Revival Road channel, we humbly request your support. For in your likes and subscriptions, you become the artist of our shared masterpiece.